All right, you guys. Good morning, and welcome to our weekly team development, personal development team call. My name is Carla, and I'm super excited to be on this call with you guys today. It's been a crazy morning, rushing from the gym. I was like sitting there and like rushing home, and I was like so excited because this topic that we're taking on this month is about leadership. And for those of you who probably are joining us for the first time or you're pretty new to the call, let me just give you a little bit of a background with the call. This call, we've been doing it now for well over a year. And basically what it's designed to do is to really give you topics every month that will empower you in your business, or most of the people on the call have a business, but empower you in your business, in your life, in your jobs, in your career, in your relationships, because at the end of the day, one of the things that we've been talking about in these calls is that you are not like these compartments. It's not like this is my personal life, this is my business life. And for those people that think for a minute that one thing has nothing to do with the other, they probably are in for a surprise eventually, because at the end of the day, you are you everywhere you go. Now, granted, of course, you're probably not the same person at work that you are with your children, right? You're not going to be talking to your employees the way you talk to your babies. But I think you get the picture that everything affects everything. And so one of the things that we've been doing with these calls is really bringing awareness, bringing the mindset behind what does it take to have, in this particular call series, to have the attitude and the characteristics of a leader. So last week, we started this call series, and I gave you guys 2 homework assignments, so I don't know how, maybe at the end of the call, we'll open up the lines and see how you did with that. One of them was to really take on the previous month's call series. We took on the book Think and Grow Rich, and we took on the six steps of declaration and doing it every morning and every night, and diarying in, whether it's your gratitude diary or the things you want to acknowledge yourself for. But in other words, doing something every single day that would empower you in whatever it is that you're up to. So one of the things that we did last week, one of the homeworks I asked for you guys to do last week was if you didn't take that on the month of October, to take it on this week of November. So we'll see at the end of the call how that went. And then the other thing that we did last week was we talked about what does it take, what are the characteristics of a leader. And one of the things that we started building on is that in order for a leader to really lead a team of people, one of the things that must be in place, one of the things that in order for it to be effective is that the group must feel safe. And we talked about, the trust that a leader has to bring in, because at the end of the day, you only are a leader if you're leading people, if people are following you, right? That's why it's called leader, because it's you're leading a group of people. So the only way that you can continue and have a tremendous amount of influence, because that's really what leadership is, right? It's having the ability to influence people. And in order for you to influence people and to have them, choose powerfully to follow you, one of the things that must be in place is they have to feel safe. There has to be a trust there, because at the moment that there isn't, then the human beings by nature come into this survival mode. So that was the call that we did last week. And if you haven't, you didn't listen to it, you can go into Entrepreneur Intelligence, and or you can go onto my YouTube channel. I finally figured out how to, do it the right way. So it's youtube.com/EI Carla for Entrepreneur Intelligence, Carla. So E as an elephant, I as an island, Carla, and you'll be able to see all the videos. And last week's call series is on there, so you can go back and listen to it. So anyhow, building on that concept, so we're going to be building on this whole month of November. So last week we talked about the foundation of that needs to happen. There needs to be a level of trust, and people need to feel safe around you and safe with the team and the group that it's interacting with, okay? What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about something that has to also be in place with you as a leader in order for you to have a safety and have the trust, which is important as a group. You as a leader set the tone for that. So what do you as a leader need to have within yourself in order to have that happen, okay? So this call series is going to be all about your values, your passion, and your purpose. Okay, and so we're going to take a deviation from this. We're going to really build on this, because next week what we're going to do is we're really going to start to look at how is it that when you're clear about your vision and you're clear about how you need to be and how you need to act within that vision, and who you need to be, within that vision. And then the third step is what actions would you need to take. So in order for us to get to next week's session, we've got to build a foundation, a solid foundation for you to get crystal clear. And by the way, this can always evolve, okay? But to get as clear as you possibly can at this moment in time as to what is your vision, okay? So here's the thing. If you're in a leadership position, understanding what drives you is the single most important factor in the success of your business, your relationships, your families. Remember, you're leading everywhere you're at, right? If you're with your children, you're their leader. I think you get the picture, okay? So in order for you to, so for you to understand, it's like really, really what it is that drives you is like the most important thing for you to have success in whatever it is that you're doing. You know, it's really important that you're aware of what drives you, because at the end of the day, everything starts there. See, so many people want to have success in their life, but if you really think about, like, let's say you're starting a business, okay, and one of the reasons why you're starting this business is because you really want to be successful. But what drove you to start that particular business, well, we hope, is the passion of whatever that business gives you. So, for example, I know most of us are like in a wellness business, right? So your passion for helping others to get healthy and fit and to bring abundance to somebody's family and to develop somebody and help them get developed as a human being might be what drives you, okay? But if you're not clear about really what drives you, it's really hard to get passionate about it, okay? So the first thing you got to really take a look at is what drives you, because everything starts there, okay? Now, here's the thing. Getting to know yourself at this next level will change the way that you lead people. The moment you know what drives you, that's like your anchor. That's like where you start. So if you know what drives you, it's going to change the way you lead your team, and how you think about your business will transform. And it's going to go all the way down. It's going to it's a ripple effect, right? It's going to go all the way down to how your team interacts with its clients. Okay, so let me explain what I mean by this. Let's suppose that what drives you is really making a difference. What drives you is helping people, get, healthy and fit, and and you're really passionate about changing the nutritional habits of a family, okay, as an example, right? And when you really know that is what drives you, you're going to lead your team from there. You're not going to be leading your team from let's conquer and kill, okay? You're going to be leading your team from there, because that is your core. That is your anchor. That's what you stand for. That is like who you are for yourself and for the world, okay? That's why you're going into business. Okay, like, for example, if you were to open a restaurant as an example, right, maybe what you're passionate about, what drives you from there is, you wanting to, give families an experience that, fulfills them, that has them come in and it's such an awesome atmosphere that they're not going to want to be on their phones. That's like what drives you, is like family unity. So you're going to lead from there, not from sell them food. Okay, I think you get the picture. So when you lead from there, how you think about your business will come from that place. So everything that you do, or almost everything that you do, the decisions that you make are going to come from, I want to make a difference and I want to change the habits of people, the nutritional habits of the families. Or if you're a restaurant owner, I want to really give people an experience, because maybe they don't eat at home. They don't eat dinner together, and so when they come here, I want them to have a family experience, etc. Okay, I think you get the idea. So what's going to happen is, if you're leading from there and everything that you do from there, when you're training, if you have a restaurant, when you're training your employees, if you've got, for us in Herbalife, if you've got this business, how you're training your team is going to be trained from there. So the atmosphere, the culture that you're going to be developing is from, we're here to make a difference. We're here to serve people. We're here to help them get in the best shape of their life, etc. Okay? So it's not about the dollar. It's about the mission. So when you do this, it actually becomes much more fulfilling to work in your business. And one of the things you've got to get is that, and we've talked about this, is like, you go with you everywhere you go. I don't know if you've noticed that, but if you're with your family, there you are. And you're with your business, there you are. And if you're with your friends, like, there you are, right? So you've got to get that you are the thread that holds everything together. Okay? So you are the thread that holds things together. So in your business, when you're leading your team and you're training them, it's really up to you. The kind of atmosphere you impose, the culture, the tone, etc. Okay? So the thing is, and we've talked about this on previous calls, this is like the good news and the bad news, right? The bad news is it's up to you. And the good news is it's up to you. So the good news is you can actually design your life and your business the way you choose to. Okay, especially if you've got a leadership position, which, by the way, even if you've got one person on your team, you're leading that one person. Okay, so whether you've got 100, and I love what Jim Rohn said, you can't manage or lead 100 when you haven't managed to lead one. Okay, so think about that. So many times, and I know I fell into this trap until I heard Jim Rohn say that. I was like, well, once I have a team, I will do X. And once I have a team, I will do Y. So when he said that, I was in Nashville, Tennessee, I believe it was 2001. And he said that. He's like, you can't expect, if you're not ready to lead 100, if you haven't been ready to lead one, how do you expect to lead 100? And when he said that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's true. It's almost like the universe is like, look, I've given you 2 members. You can't even take care of 2. What makes you think that you can take care of 100? If you really start to think about that, that's really powerful because it starts with you, right? The set of tone that you have, how you take care of the people, the way that you're leading them, what you're instructing them to do, and then it's going to transcend into 4, 5, 6, 7. So when you have 100 people on your team, it's not going to be overwhelming because not only have you mastered the ability to lead, but you've also learned to train leaders to lead other people. And that's where the power of duplication comes in from. So it's really the great news that you can design your life and your business just as you choose. Now, the bad news is if things are not going well, you just got to look in the mirror. One of the things that we've been talking about these calls is that to really be empowered to know that you are not at the effect of life. So many people out there, I know nobody on this call, but so many people out there are like, well, life is happening to me, right? Why do people do this? Why do I always get the bad ones? Or how come nobody wants to come with me? Or how come no one's following me? Or, it's almost like this victim attitude, right? But if you really think about it, if you really, really, really are conscious and aware, all you got to do is look in the mirror. Because the only common denominator in all those is you. Now, although that's the bad news, because it's like a, hard pill to swallow, it's the good news because that means you've got the power to change that. Okay, so let's talk about how can you start transforming that. Number one, okay, you've got to start getting real. Okay, we've talked about this over and over again. You've got to be aware of where you're at. Okay, I really invite you to take a step back and to really consider, where am I today? Like, where am I today? Where am I with my leadership, with my family? Where am I in my leadership with my business, with my team? And I told you guys last week, if you go on to entrepreneurintelligence.com, under the training series, you'll see the 5 levels of leadership. I highly recommend that you go back and listen to that audio. When you go on to Entrepreneur Intelligence and you hit on the training series, it'll ask you to log in. Just put in your email and make up a password, and it's going to get you through, okay? So why I'm telling you this is because there's different levels of influence within, the levels of leadership. It's a different levels, and so we want to start looking at, where am I today with my business? Where am I today with my team? Where am I today with my family? And if you like where it's at, great. Start, patting yourself on the back and keep doing more of whatever it is that you've been doing. But if you don't like where you're at, okay, now it's time to take a look in the mirror and see how it's going to change. And here's the thing, okay, you might be in 2 places. So if you start looking at start getting real, okay, start getting real of where you're at. It might be that you feel that you don't feel like you're a leader. Like you don't feel like you're a leader inside at all. Like you feel like you don't really know what you're doing, right? And that's okay. But this is the thing. If you're aware of that, now you can go, you know what? I really don't feel like I'm a leader because I don't know what I'm doing. Now you got to take an inventory of yourself and say, okay, what is it that I'm missing? What is it that I need to learn? Look, I just did this on Sunday. I'm starting a mastermind group today, and one of the assignments was to start looking at problems and obstacles and solutions. And and one of the things I was writing down, as I was writing this down, I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, so here's my problem. Here's the obstacles that I have. Okay, so based on these obstacles, what are the solutions that I need to take, or what are the steps, or what are the action steps that I need to take in order to overcome these obstacles? And it's amazing, you guys, when you really think about it that way, you really will get clear on what it is that you're missing, and therefore now you can go and find it. So one of the things for me was knowledge and education around a certain topic. So I was like, okay, so one of the things I need to do, I need to find somebody who knows how to do this because I don't know, right? Or maybe for you, it's like you don't feel like you're a leader because maybe you're, in your business there's something that you are unclear about. Well, then guess what? Now that you know what, I don't feel like a leader because I really don't know how to explain the marketing plan. Okay, well, guess what? There's so many tools and resources to help you and support you in solving that problem or to develop that skill. Because really, you guys, in my humble opinion, I really do believe leadership is a skill. It's something that you can learn. Now, are there people that are natural-born leaders? Absolutely. Just like there are people that are born, natural soccer players. They're just like, you give them a ball and they're just so good at it, right? They become like masters. But maybe I'm not a master soccer player, but if I practice enough and I learn enough, I can get pretty good. Maybe not make it to the pros, but I can be good to play and to really have a good time with it. Same thing with leadership. Okay, so but the thing is, you got to get real on what it is that you're missing, what it is that you need to learn, and then go out and get the resources. Don't just stay stuck in, I don't know the marketing plan. Oh, boo, I cannot do this business. Instead, think about, okay, how can I learn? Who can I talk to? What videos can I watch? Who can I practice with? And really start putting things in place to transform that. Or maybe you're confident in certain strengths, but you notice how, your leadership style is kind of rubbing people the wrong way, right? Like maybe you're really good at everything with your business, but what you can notice is how people, even though you have a lot of strength, they just don't follow you, or they don't follow you with pleasure, right? Because maybe you're rubbing them the wrong way. Whatever the case may be, it's really powerful to start looking at where are you today, because you guys, the ability to lead is not necessarily measured by, you having it all figured out and you're not ever making a mistake. It's really measured by how open and transparent you are with your strengths and your weaknesses. So many of you guys have commented and sent me, feedback about how you really appreciate how authentic and honest I am with you guys about all my mistakes. Listen, I mess up more than I do things right. But the good thing I will say about myself is that even when I don't do things right, I will I will admit to it. I'll apologize when I need to apologize. I'll say, hey, you know what, I really messed up here and I'm sorry. But here's the thing. One of the things I want to empower you with is when you slip, okay, don't overlook it. I was talking to my TAP team yesterday, my leaders in my team, and somebody said, they said whatever they said because I'm going to keep their confidentiality, but they said something that they messed up on, right? And I said, listen, let's call her Beth, right? Listen, Beth, first of all, thank you for, bringing it up. And here's the thing: whenever you don't talk about or don't bring forward the situation, you just kind of put it under the rug. Let me tell you something. That robs you of your power. If you really think about this, okay, let's just say as an example, okay, let's just say that you were supposed to turn in a paper to to somebody, okay, or you were supposed to do something for someone as an example. Let's just say, let's just say you're a student or whatever, or let's say you got the job and somebody needs to turn in this paper. And you say, yeah, I'll have it to you by tomorrow at 5 o'clock, okay? And you just don't have it done, and you don't send it to that person, and then here comes tomorrow morning, or the next day, after it's due, and you see them in the hallway, and you're like, oh, my God, you want to hide, you want to avoid that person because you've got so much, like, guilt or shame, or you've got this little thing in your stomach because you didn't do what you said you were going to do, and you don't want to confront it. That robs you of your power. But instead, if you actually go forward, and say, hey, you know what? Let's say you send them an email at like 4:30, 4:45. Hey, Bob, I know that I said I was going to send you this paper by 5 o'clock. I'm really, really behind. I just wanted to be in communication with you. Can I send it to you the following day by noon? So you acknowledge that you weren't able to do it. Okay, you clean it up, you acknowledge it, and then you set a new promise. When you do this, let me tell you, people are going to appreciate it, number one, but it leaves you more powerful, okay? Or when you mess up and you know that you messed up, it's just a matter of saying, hey, you know what, I'm really sorry. I know that X, Y, Z happened, and like this particular person said, I was going to call you. I didn't call you or whatever, that's an example. Then all of a sudden you say, hey, you know what, I know I said I was going to call you last week. I'm so sorry I forgot to call you. It totally slipped my mind. I've got no excuses, but, I thought I would give you a call. That other person, it's like, what can they say? You totally, fessed up before I had to say, hey, man, you said you were going to call and you didn't call. Okay, now that is not a pleasant feeling, but if you bring it up first, trust me, it's going to leave you powerful. So why am I saying all this? Because in order for you to have power as a leader, you've got to be self-aware. It is so important. Now, I've had people, maybe not on this call, right, but I've had people say, Carla, why does that matter? Like, why does it matter, right? Why does it matter that, that I have to be so self-aware? Like, and some people actually run from it. You guys, it takes courage to dive into that territory. It really takes courage for you to look in the mirror and say, all right, I don't like this, maybe I should, watch my tone of voice. And, like today, this morning, a friend of mine called me and I was rushing out of the gym and, and I picked up the phone, I was like rushed and I wasn't my kindest, I was kind of rude and I felt bad. So I texted him, I said, hey, I'm so sorry I rushed, but I got a call and I got to run home for a call. See, because it left me feeling bad in my stomach. Because now you're self-aware, now you know that you're responsible. And a lot of people rather, how they say ignorance is bliss, right? They'd rather stay that way to not take responsibility. But for those people who actually dig into it and really start becoming self-aware, let me tell you, you will be so powerful with your life, the way you lead, and more importantly, you'll be powerful with yourself, okay? And the reason I'm saying is because sometimes it's hard to see up front how this is going to, pan out in your business or how this is going to, affect your bottom line, if you will. But if you really know this, you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. The more you know yourself, the more self-aware you are, the more you get why it is that you do what you do. You get your vision. You say, this is what I stand for, and this is why I am in this business. This is why I do what I do. This is what's important to me. This is why I'm passionate about. This is what I'm passionate about. You will be shocked how quickly that you will begin to discover how you will how that will help you manage and solve problems with with speed. And your everyday interactions with people will transform. Okay? Because when you're clear about your vision and your passion and your purpose in life, now the conversations, it's like it's almost like this, okay? Let's just say, you're clear about your values and your vision and your passion, and it's almost like you walk around with those labels on you. It's like a T-shirt that says, I am passionate about making a difference in the world, are you next, or whatever. Maybe that should be a T-shirt, right? But, and it's like, it's in this invisible T-shirt that you're wearing, and everywhere you go, people actually are drawn to you because who you are is that person that wants to make a difference in the world with health and fitness and take people to the next level. I think you get the picture, right? But if you're not clear, you're walking around with God knows what T-shirt, like, I need money, talk to me, right? And then it's like, gosh, why doesn't nobody want to talk to me? Well, because you're wearing this T-shirt that says, I need money, talk to me, right? So be mindful of who you are and how you are coming across to people. And when you come from that place, it's so powerful, you guys. You become this magnet. We had a call several months ago that I think was one of the, I know it was Jennifer's probably favorite call, and that is, you have this light, and let your light shine. But if you don't even turn it on, it's really hard for people to even know you're there, okay? So here's the thing. When you have self-awareness, there are three things that will come into play, okay? I call them my three C's. Number one, you have clarity, okay? Number two, you will have certainty. And number three, you will have confidence. Okay, when you are self-aware and you've got this, like, you really know what you stand for, what your vision is, what your purpose is, what you're passionate about, you're clear, you've got clarity. So guess what? Wondering what am I going to do today now it will be around those three things, your passion, your purpose, and your vision. When you're self-aware and you know what you stand for, you've got certainty. So, for example, if you see somebody who, maybe it's like saying, oh, my God, maybe you're at the gym and someone's like, man, I've been working out for like 5 months and I don't see a difference. You overhear this conversation, and who you are is somebody who makes a difference and helps people get to the next level with their health. All of a sudden, that conversation, now you have certainty. I should talk to that person because who you are is somebody who can help them, okay? And then all of a sudden, you're going to have confidence. It's like sometimes you think, well, I don't know what to say. What should I say to this person? Let me tell you something. When you're clear and you've got a lot of self-awareness about what it is that you do, why you do what you do, it's amazing the words will come out of your mouth. When you're real and you're authentic with people, you don't have to practice the script. Now, does it help to have knowledge? Absolutely. Does it help to have like a guideline? Absolutely. But you throw in your personality within that guideline, within that those bullet points. You throw in your personal story. You throw in your charisma, your personality, and all of a sudden you've got to get you guys something, and that is that people buy you before they buy anything else. And when you do this, you have such a huge advantage over your quote-unquote competition. If you look at your competition, you'll see that there are such few people that actually have this skill of self-awareness. This could be the thing that sets you apart from other people. People are going to want to follow you. You'll have such an amazing influence with them as a leader of whatever, your team, your business, your relationships, your family, your anybody, right? Like your cousins, your nephews, because when they are around you, who you are is somebody who's certain, who's confident, who has clarity of what they stand for in their life, and people want to be around that, okay? So when you get this, and people, believe it or not, this factor alone is like a magnet. People are hungry and thirsty for people that are real, that are authentic, that are not fake, that are not trying to pretend that everything is perfect. Listen, like I said, I've confessed my ups and downs with you guys on these calls. There was a time in my life where I really thought that like everything was perfect. And, I say that to people now and they're like, are you serious? I'm like, no, I really did. Like I thought like life was perfect and I had the perfect family, the perfect this, the perfect that. And then all of a sudden I realized, I grew up and I realized, oh my gosh, like nothing is perfect. Everything has its ups and its downs. Everything has, some, little stains here and there. But guess what? That's what life is about. Otherwise, in the quotes of my mother, how boring would it be if everything was perfect, right? So I want you guys to take on this week. I have one more minute here. I want you to take on this week, taking on this concept of why do I do what I do? And to start we've been talking about self-awareness since last year, okay? But to really start looking at why do I do what I do? And I'm going to invite you to actually write it down. Actually write it down. Like, okay, what do I stand for? What is my vision? Right? So you want to start looking at, because next week we are going to build on this. We're going to build on, now that you're clear on your vision, now what kind of business how would the business act that has that vision? We're going to take it to another level. So you want to make sure you do your assignment, okay? Start to be clear. What is your vision? Why do you do what you do? What are you passionate about? Like, what do you love to do? Like, if you could design your business any way, shape, and form, what kind of culture would it have? How would they interact? How would they be? How would, let's see, what else? What kind of people would be on your team? Okay? I want you to start looking at that. so that next week you can build on that, okay? And so this week, you got 2 little assignments, okay? Number 1, build on last week. Make sure you start looking at what kind of atmosphere and culture do you have? Do people feel safe? Do they trust each other? Okay, and then this week, I want you to really start to look at, why do you do what you do? Okay, what vision do you have of your business? If you can design it any way, how would you design it? Okay, so that we can build on it for next week. All right, you guys, so it's exactly 9:30, so hang on. Don't hang up. I'm going to stop the recording and open up the line. So quick second, okay?